2 weeks ago, our vehicle died, and so regretfully, we had to start car shopping. And if you don't know, it's a terrible time to buy a car with the lack of inventory and inflated prices. So you can imagine how thrilled we were. Thankfully, we found a vehicle and we purchased it. And then on that first day driving to work, I noticed out of the corner of my eye that there were these lights that were flashing on my side mirrors. And these lights would flash if anything was in the spaces around my car that I couldn't see. Which really is brilliant because the reality is that we all have blind spots. We all have spots in our peripheral vision that we simply cannot see. And in life, I like to refer to these blind spots as fake news. You know what I mean. Fake news is false information that can seem so logical that it easily can make it into the truth column of our lives. We see this show up all the time on social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they all have built-in algorithms that feed you information that makes you feel good about what you already believe. Because if you feel good while scrolling, well, you'll keep scrolling, you'll keep clicking, you'll keep going to that app. And when the voices that we are reading or listening to continually confirm the same values or biases that we already hold, what happens is that these algorithms can build up echo chambers around us so that eventually all we are hearing is the same thought over and over. And those echo chambers cause us to become more settled on a thought that is truth, even if it's fake news, simply because we have heard it confirmed by outside voices so many times. Now, to combat this, we want to make sure we are getting information from varying and trusted sources. We want to admit that we don't know everything and recognize that we are not right about everything that we may think we are. So if the news that you read, the social media feeds that you follow, and the stations that you tune into all are confirming the exact same thing, you might be creating echo chambers, and you might want to consider adding some additional voices to your life. Another space we often see fake news abound is in the arena of public opinion. Now, this one seems to be so prevalent in our society because everyone is an expert, or everyone can be an expert after a simple 10-minute Google search. And at times, a non-expert's opinion sometimes can hold even more weight in society than decades of proven research. Friends, the truth is that there has never been more information available at our fingertips, and there has never been more misinformation guiding our decisions. There's also a phenomenon that is currently sweeping over our culture, whereby the loudest voices gain the most attention. And as a result, they are often believed to hold the most truth. To help discern facts from fake news, I've started to ask a simple question when I come across a public opinion that is being framed as an expert opinion. I'll simply respond to the question or to the information saying, well, thanks for sharing that thought with me. Can I ask you, is it your opinion or is this a tested theory? Now, if the person is sharing their personal opinion, I've found they will often launch into aggressively sharing with me the many reasons why the opinion is the right opinion. And as they do, they will often leave very little space for any questions. But if someone is sharing true information that has been tested and proved to be true, I found that that person will often calmly respond by sharing supportive data and the process by which that truth was discovered. They'll present the information for my consideration rather than forcing it down my throat. Give it a try. Next time someone comes to you with something that they hold to be true, ask them, is this your opinion or is it a tested theory? This is a simple tool that can actually help you begin discerning if something is true or merely just a public opinion. And the final space we often encounter fake news is in our soundtracks. Soundtracks are those old, familiar tunes that we all play in our head over and over until they become seared as truth in our lives. They're those old melodies that we turn on even before we approach a situation. They might sound something like this in your life. Well, I should stop talking because my ideas are dumb. God doesn't hear me when I pray. The way I'm feeling today is probably the way I'm going to feel for the rest of my life. I'm an imposter. Everybody knows it. Or nobody likes me. Friends, those soundtracks are fake news. They are not true. But if we're not careful, we may start to believe them as truth. which is so dangerous. Thankfully, the Bible teaches us that God wants to transform the way that we think. He knows our tendency is to think negatively about ourselves and other people, and He knows our tendency is to believe the fake news all around us. Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Don't copy the behaviors of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think." That's why the Bible is full of God talking about us in a positive light. And if you're ready to turn off the fake news in your life, our team has put together a list of daily declaration that God says about you. Because one of the best ways to turn off the fake news in your life is by reading and then learning to believe what God has to say about you. You are loved. You are not alone because God is with you. You don't need to be a prisoner to your worry because God can offer us a peace that the world cannot. Friends, fake news is unfortunately a part of this world that we live in, but God gives us the tools to help us discern what is fake and what is true. So start paying attention to those echo chambers that you might be creating and work at adding voices of truth to the daily diet that you are consuming. Then watch out for public opinion presented as facts. Just because someone is passionate about something that they are saying doesn't mean that it's the truth. And finally, work to bring the volume down on those soundtracks that you might be believing by adding the truth of God's words to your life.